So thanks for joining us, Jack. It's been a while since we spoke to you. How have you been keeping?
Yeah, no worries. A lot's changed. Obviously since leaving Exeter. So I'm sure we'll get into that in this interview.
And how have you been passing the time at the moment? Are you back in training?
So we've been back in individually. So we have to book an hour time slot with the sports scientists at the moment. So only one player can be at the training ground at any time. But yeah, he's had us running, and I felt the effects of 6 weeks where you couldn't do much. So yeah, we're trying to get back into it now.
Just going on to your time at Exeter, you joined us on loan in August 2016. Did having Jake Taylor and Piers Sweeney at the club at that point help influence that decision?
Yeah, that was a massive influence for me joining. I remember the first day that I did sign. I was speaking to those two, and I text Jake the day before actually, and he had just glowing reports about the club alongside other things that I'd heard. So that was obviously a big impact on me signing.
The club has good links with Reading anyway, doesn't it? I think so. That probably helped it go smoothly, I guess.
Yeah, and obviously Eamon Dolan, who he worked at Exeter and Reading. I think he'd already recommended me to the club, obviously before he sadly passed away. So I think that was another link between the two. So yeah, I think it was the perfect club for me to join. And obviously everyone recommended and said the same.
It was a bit of a crazy season for you as well, in the relegation zone until about December, and then confirming a playoff spot at Doncaster in April. I mean, what a baptism of fire that must have been.
Yeah, it was crazy. I remember, I think it was November time, we went to the bottom of the league, and that's still fairly on into a season. But the strange thing was, we always knew the quality we had, and the team spirit was amazing. Even when we were near the bottom, no one really believed that we were ever going to go down. We just felt like if we could go on some sort of run, we were one of the better teams in the league. And looking back on it, it's strange when you're bottom of the league and you believe you could get towards the top, but it's something we did, and because we all believed in it, it's something that happened.
Was it that 1-0 winning away at Leighton Orient that sort of kick-started the season? Ollie Watkins scoring sort of kick-started a run, didn't it, and climbed up the table?
Yeah, I think it was really strange because we were playing Leighton Orient, who were near the bottom with us, and then it almost was like the next win we were playing someone a little bit higher, and every time we used to beat a team, we seemed to go above them. But I think that win just showed us that we could pick up points, we could see out games, and like you said, off the back of that, we went on that winning run where we just ended up climbing the table.
We had a pretty decent squad that season as well. I think you said the likes of yourself, Ruben Reid, Ollie Watkins, David Wheeler. So it was strange the club would be even sitting near the bottom of the league with that squad, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we had so many injuries. We had players playing all in different positions. Obviously, we had new players. I'd joined that season, quite a few. So it was just about gelling in. But like you said, you look back on the squad and where some of the players are playing now, and the likes of Ethan, Ollie, David Wheeler, and then obviously just the whole team we thought was good enough to get promoted out of that league. So yeah, we had a really good squad. So once we went on that run, I think once everything was settled, we had less injuries, the quality could come through.
And this was probably your first full loan spell in men's football, wasn't it? You made 38 appearances in League Two. Do you think you gained a lot from that experience?
Yeah, massive. Obviously, that I joined at the beginning of the season, and I think that was just sort of kick-started my professional career. Before that, I'd had a couple of loans, been in and out of the team, then obviously play under 23s football. But I think when you go out for a full season, playing for first half of the season, there was the trying to stay up, trying to save the club in essence, and then for the second half you start winning, and you're going to the playoffs. You're in the semi-finals, you get to the final. I think it's just experiences that you can't really have at an under-23s level. So it was a massive step up for me, and it's something that really helped me in my career so far.
And I think you originally started out as a winger, didn't you? But when you came to Exeter, you played, or kind of converted into a right back. Do you feel that sort of played to your strengths?
Yeah, well, I came as a winger. My debut was away at Colchester, playing on the right wing, and then I think I ended up playing centre midfield for a few games. I remember at home to Doncaster, it was me and Ollie Watkins behind Ruben Reid, I think, in essentially a number 10 position. I think the next game then I dropped back into a deeper centre midfield, and then eventually started to play right back and sort of held down the spot there. And I think, yeah, that's something that suited my qualities, especially the way that Tiz had us playing and the way that we did play. And I formed a good partnership with David Wheeler. You know, he was a joy to play behind. He'd win every header. You know, he'd get up and down the whole game. So that sort of suited me. And yeah, since then, like you said, I've stayed as a right back. So that was a massive part of it.
Did you enjoy that battle you had with Pierce Sweeney for that position as well? Because obviously being mates and that, did that affect it at all?
Yeah, obviously he was. There was times when he was playing centre back and I was playing right back. So I thought we'd play well together there. And there was times where he would play it, times when I wouldn't play it. That's just football. Obviously we all got off well off the pitch, but you know we both wanted to play, and we both ended up making a lot of appearances that season, and it worked out well. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Then getting to the playoffs, losing to Carlisle at home on the last day of the season meant that we play them again in the playoffs. Both games they'd won 3-2 that season, so I think it was, you know, nailed on that there was going to be goals in the playoffs, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a weird one. Obviously, I was on loan at Carlisle the year before for 10 games, and then we ended up playing them, like I said, in November when we went bottom of the league. So that felt like a significant moment because I think they were first or second at that point. And then it got to the end of the season. Obviously, we lost again, 3-2. But just going into the playoffs, we believed the run that we'd been on and the difference that from being bottom, playing them, to obviously then competing with them in the playoffs, that we felt we were more evenly matched. And like you said, it was one for the neutral every one of those games.
You made the short journey to Brunton Park for the first leg as well. Finished 3-3, but I mean, City could have easily scored 5 in that game, couldn't they? I think did you play about 20 minutes of that game, I think?
Yeah, I came on. I remember coming on. It was a crazy game. They ended up scoring from like a cross shot, didn't they? And
went over Bobby's head, didn't it?
Yeah, and then came back into the game. So I think the whole playoffs, you can just describe it as crazy, and that was the start. That sort of set it up, really.
What was the mood like the following week? Obviously, there's usually about 5 days between the games. What was it like? Because it was so evenly poised at that point, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember. I just feel like, looking back, it was just confidence. It was almost like the run we'd been on, where we'd come from to get into the playoffs. I've said it a lot, but we just believed in ourselves to be able to beat them, and especially back at St James's Park. You know, I think we'd had a really good record there after a poor start. So we sort of believed we could beat anyone there. So I think we're just confident going into it.
And it was all looking good after 79 minutes when Ollie Watkins put us 2 up. Were eyes on Wembley then while your guys were on the pitch? Was anyone mentioning anything?
No one was mentioning anything, but maybe subconsciously they were, because you know we ended up conceding 2 goals, and maybe it was just we felt like we were already there, which obviously in football you can never ever do, and that proved.
And what happens, you know, in your mind when it gets to 2-2 after, I think it's like 89 minutes?
Yeah, it's just obviously deflation. You're looking towards extra time now, which obviously we've had a lot of games. It's getting towards the end of a long season, but you just have to say, listen, that's gone now. You know, let's try and win it in extra time, essentially.
Got to 94 minutes, and I was speaking to Jake a couple of weeks ago on one of these about it, and he's asking him, you know, his memories of that goal and what was going through his mind when he passed the ball to you. And I think he said he just wanted someone to do something for him because he was so knackered. So, what happened? What do you remember of when you picked up the ball from Jake?
Well, yeah, I just seem to remember we had a throw in, and everyone was so tired, everyone giving everything, and it just seemed to be me and him. I don't think anyone else fancied it at that point. So I gave the ball to him, and I sort of run into a position. If I look back now and watch the game, I'm thinking, where am I going there? You know? But it just seems to be one of those things where everything came together. He did really well, to just composure. You know, even in the 90th minute, he just had that composure to find me. It's perfectly weighted pass. And then, yeah, the rest is just, I've almost forgot the actual moment because I've watched it back so many times. So yeah, it's just, but obviously what a moment. And
the celebration just shows like pure elation from you, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was my only goal for Exeter. So
I think you hit the post a couple of times and things. Had one disallowed, didn't you?
I had felt like I was due a goal, and I'd almost felt a bit that I hadn't contributed as much as I could, because I felt like I could contribute goals, but yeah, maybe I was just waiting for the 90th minute to score.
And do you remember much of the ground at the point when the ball went in? Because it kind of exploded, didn't it? You know, fans were going wild, running up to you, and that when you celebrated.
Yeah, I just ran straight into the crowd. Everyone else just sprinting around. I remember seeing the video of Tiz. You know, he was so cool and composed. You know, just everything about him. You know, from the way he dressed, to the way he handled every situation. So to see him, he was sprinting up and down the touchline. So that was when I rewatched that. I thought, yeah, that was something big to get him to do that.
And what were the celebrations like on the pitch when everyone piled on when the full-time whistle went? I think you got pretty much mobbed by about 1,000 people, didn't you?
Yeah, I think every player did. I think you just wanted to stay on the pitch as long as possible after that game, just soak everything in. So I think I must have hugged everyone inside the stadium before I actually left the pitch. But yeah, that was what we worked towards as a team. And obviously, we didn't give up as a team. We felt that we've come from the bottom of the league to get into the playoff final. Everyone had helped achieve that. So that was just a real celebration after the game, obviously.
And what were the celebrations like in the dressing room? I believe it was a rendition of Sweet Caroline, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was our song. I think after every time we won. So once we went on this winning run, it was almost like before each game, we were thinking about the feeling of getting into the change room and singing that song, and that it was almost motivation. So that was our song, and I seem to remember Tiz sent out the lyrics because there was a bit in the middle where no one was getting it right, and then it just get Sweet Caroline, and everyone felt that bit out. But yeah, so that was the rendition, and that was probably the sweetest one of the season so far.
I think Jake also mentioned that he'd seen you, do that in training so many times before, cut inside and hit the ball past the keeper. Did it feel great that it actually come off?
Yeah, it was something I practiced. Actually, I saw Pierce mentioned it. I think it was on the Q&A that he'd seen me hit it over and way wide and way over, practicing on my left foot, which is very true. It's something I just practiced after training. And obviously at that point it paid off and didn't go wide and over. And like, obviously didn't want to mention it, but obviously I didn't break any windscreens in practicing my left foot. So yeah, no, he made a good point, but that's my point.
I didn't even consider that, but obviously you're right-footed, aren't you? And you hit the ball with your left.
Yeah, I just felt it was something I just practiced on because it was a weakness of mine, and Pierce can tell you from my practicing that they at the beginning they would go everywhere. So it was just something I thought I could practice on, and I never really felt that it was all going to come together like that, but thankfully it did.
And you had a good relationship with the fans whilst you were there, and even to this day, you still get messages from them, support and stuff. I think if one goal could make you a City legend, then I think that one has done that.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy playing. Obviously, in front of the fans, I think everything about Exeter is just so unique. The way it's fan owned. For example, we had volunteer fans that would come in and make the lunches, and I think they still do everything like that. So I really loved the community around the club, and that was something that I had a really real connection with, and obviously still get messages about the goal, and yeah, it's something that I'm happy to always talk about.
I think even your dad has quite a lot of interactions with fans on social media as well, doesn't he? That I've seen.
Yeah, he's on. He loves Twitter, talking to the fans of clubs I play for and against. So yeah, I'm sure he's on there too.
Unfortunately, the season ended with defeat at Wembley Stadium. The fairy tale couldn't quite be completed. What do you recall of that day? I guess it was kind of bittersweet because it's the opportunity to play at Wembley, but also it didn't happen, how you'd hoped.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was for my first full season in sort of professional football or men's first team football. To end up playing at Wembley was obviously a massive occasion. I think it was the first time for quite a few of us playing there. So it was a lovely occasion. But if I look back now, it's almost disappointment because like I said, we believed the whole season after going on that run that we were one of the better teams and we deserved to go up. So yeah, obviously disappointment in the squad we had, the players we had. We wanted to go up and thank the fans for sort of sticking with us through the tough times in that season. So that was a real disappointment and probably the overall disappointment of my loan. Yeah.
Did you put your finger on kind of what went wrong that day, or was it just one of those that just wasn't meant to be?
Yeah, I have looked back. I just felt like obviously when Wheeler equalised, we always felt like that we would go on and win the game. It's something that happens in football. You don't win every time, and there's nothing that I can really put my finger on. I think we gave everything. We did well to even get to that position, but obviously would have loved to got promoted.
And what's the mood like, with your teammates when you get back to the dressing room, having seen the opposition lift the trophy?
Yeah, obviously we were in the changing room. We could hear all the celebrations going on outside, and I think someone just said, just use this. Remember this moment, and you just have to use this as motivation for anything that you go on to do in your career. You always want to be the one sort of outside celebrating rather than inside the changing room listening.
And do you feel that experience has kind of helped you progress your career to where it is now as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, not just obviously that day. That day is a massive learning curve, but the whole season at Exeter, I learned so much playing under Tiers, playing with some of these players, some of the players that we had in the squad. So I think just the whole experience of being on loan at Exeter has helped me massively.
At the end of the season, you ended up leaving Reading and joining Luton on a permanent deal. Was there ever a chance that you could have joined Exeter at that point?
Yeah, so I fully expected to go back to Reading and play because I thought I'd done quite well on my loan. I thought I'd at least be challenging around the first team squad. That was everything I'd heard at the time. But I got back from holiday because obviously we didn't have long after the playoffs finished. Got back from holiday and just had a call from my agent to say that Reading had accepted a bid for me, which sort of meant to me that I wasn't in their plans at all. So my first question was, it was from a different club. My first question was, well, like, I want to go back to Exeter because I really enjoyed my time there. I felt like we had the squad that was going to go. We just missed out that season, but I felt like next season we would definitely make a push and go all the way. And then I think at the time there was negotiations between Reading and Exeter. They couldn't agree on an amount, and then I ended up going to Luton to meet the manager, and I was sort of blown away by his vision and where he felt like the club was going. So I ended up signing for Luton.
And your debut was a crazy 8-2 win over Yeovil, I believe. Is that the highest scoring game you've ever been involved in?
Yeah, we had a few that season. I think we had a 7-0, 7-1, but I think 8-2. Yeah, it's got to be the highest, and it sort of set the precedent for that season. That we had a good season. We ended up finishing second and getting promoted. So yeah, it was a good start.
And how did it feel to return to St James Park with Luton? Obviously, you won. I think it was 4-1 that day.
Yeah, that was a really strange game. I think we were both near the top of the league at that point. And it was a really, really tight game. And I remember when it got to 4-1, I spoke to Jake Taylor, and he's like, "What's happened there?" We just sort of scored second, third, and fourth so consecutively quick that the game was over. But yeah, it was a real strange feeling returning to St James Park. But obviously, lovely to see everyone that I played against and the fans again. And hopefully, I think that's the only time I have done it. I'd love to do it again.
And you had an incredible time at Luton, really. Won 3 Player of the Season awards, got double promotions. Would you say you're playing your best football at this point?
Yeah, definitely. I think like I said, it started from that 8-2 and just seemed to keep improving. And we got double promotions. It was actually what the manager told me when I signed. It was something that convinced me to sign. The ambition the club had. So yeah, I'd say that those 2 years were obviously well up then. It was off the back of being on loan at Exeter that I could then go and perform at that level again for Luton and then at a higher level.
You were named Opposition Managers Team of the Season for League 2 and League 1. That must be quite a high accolade as well, to be picked out by the other managers in the leagues.
Yeah, definitely something I'm really proud of. Obviously, managers have a real respect within the game, so that's a good sign.
You became a Premier League player in July 2019, signing for Bournemouth. Again, was that one of your proudest moments? Yeah,
it has to be. I think it's a bit of a cliche, but it's every kid's dream to play at the Premier League. And so for me to have the opportunity to do that at the moment, I'm really grateful for where I am.
Was there other interest in you, or was Bournemouth the club you wanted to join?
Yeah, it felt like quite a long transfer window. I just heard you hear little things here and there, but I sat down with my agent and we decided that Bournemouth was the best, almost all-round package for me. And then it took a little while to go through, but that was the one I really wanted once I'd heard of the concrete interest.
I think Bournemouth quite similar to Luton and Exeter in terms of the way they conduct themselves and the things they kind of do in the community as well. So I guess that must be a nice part of it too.
Yeah, I think I've been really lucky. The teams that I've played for, the interaction with fans and how they carry themselves, it's not, it seems like they're all real community clubs, and that's something I really like to get to know the fans, a little bit more personally. So when you're out there on a Saturday, they know that you're willing to give everything for the team.
You made your debut in the Premier League in September against Everton in a 3-1 win. How are you feeling coming into that game?
Yeah, it was a bit obviously nerve-wracking. That was, since I'd signed for Luton, my goal was to start in the Premier League. Signed for Bournemouth, my goal was to start in the Premier League. So that was everything I've been working up to for that point, for the almost 3 or 4 months that I've been there. But I just said to myself, this is everything you've worked for, even from being a little kid. So just try and go out there and enjoy it. So that's what I tried to do.
Not a bad result for your first game either, to be fair.
Yeah, it was a good day. We ended up winning. The sun was shining. All my family were there to watch. It was on TV, so all my friends were watching too. So yeah, it was a really good day and happy day for me to look back on. Once you achieve something, you always want to achieve more. So I broke into the team. I got injured, so I missed a few games, and then I sort of got back into the team for a run of games. And obviously now what's happened has happened. So I'm happy with where I am, but you're always looking to achieve more and play more.
And just finally, when you joined Luton back in 2017, at that point, did you believe that you'd be able to make it to the Premier League so quickly?
Maybe not so quickly. I think when I was out on loan at Exeter, I've said it before, but it almost gave me the belief that I could perform. And then once I left Reading, my goal was almost to get back to that level that I felt like I could play at. So my aim was to get back to Championship level within 2 years, and then sort of reassess after them. So obviously everything that happened is a real whirlwind to be playing the Premier League now, but it's something I've always tried to play at the highest level I can. So I'm just trying to enjoy it.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jack. Hopefully you can get back playing soon, or at least know what's going to happen to your season as well.
Yeah, same for you. Hopefully
we'll see you at St James Park one day, maybe in the future.
Yeah, I'd love to be back, can't wait.